going into tonight? I don't know if there were certain traits you were looking for in any players. I don't know how much competition became, how much it influenced any decisions, just kind of how you wanted to approach the whole thing.
Yeah, I think the strategy was to make us better now and to make us better later. And so we went into a draft where we felt like there were some incredibly competitive players. I think we were looking for that kind of competitive core in the folks that we were targeting. I think the other quality that I would say that away out of everybody that we picked is just a kind of explosiveness and a speed on the court. We're, I think, as Coach Johnson has shared previously, we're looking to play a very quick game, and I think we've got some folks that can help us run, and I think they complement our existing core incredibly.
Great. Hey, how you doing? Jade Lawson, 7 News.
Hi, Jade.
Well, nice to meet you.
Nice to meet
Congrats
you.
on the draft night.
Thank
Two
you.
questions for you, and then I'll pass it on. The first question is, you guys had a lot of draft picks coming in. How do you plan on continuing to develop this kind of rookie, a lot of these rookies that are coming into the Mystics team? And then second of all, question is, I think I spotted Elena Deladon in the war room tonight. What was that like? Just kind of having her as a guide as you guys enter this draft year.
Oh, I mean, it's amazing to get a champion in the room. And we had her calling our picks in to the league. I think just a wonderful presence, and we're just thrilled to have her alongside us tonight. So that the question about development, like it's precisely what we want to do. I think we've got players coming out who have a really, really long future ahead of them. I think we're really excited to help them get, to that next competitive level. It's not easy to be a rookie in the WNBA. We know that. And so I think they will depend a lot on each other. I think they'll depend a lot on our existing core. But Coach Johnson just brought in a really amazing coaching staff. And I know one of the things that he focused on was bringing in people who had a history and a particular acumen and capacity for development. And so that's part of our plan. And so our hope is to bring in these players and give them that opportunity on the court. And we're really excited to see what they do.
Good to see you again. Jen
Nice to
Hatfield.
see you.
I got two for you, if I may. Just first of all, what was it kind of like in your war room having 3 picks in the span of 4, like making decisions that quickly, and you kind of being the first time doing this. So can you kind of take us behind the scenes and how that felt for you there?
Yeah, it's months of preparation that come down to, I think, probably about 14 minutes on the clock. And I would just say not preparation by myself alone, but it's a quintessential example of teamwork. We had a lot of folks in the room who contributed to the effort. And as I said, that started months ago, long hours, long days. And so it was the culmination of all of that. I think what we saw was the ability to execute in just 12 minutes was a reflection of the kind of preparation that we had. So it's a fantastic energy. It's game night jitters, and then getting out on the court and making decisions. But most importantly, it represents the work you put in before.
And then just as a follow-up, did you ever consider trading any of the first round picks, or was it always that you wanted to keep those 3 and kind of move them along in your organization together?
Yeah, I mean, it's a long process. And so I think as we went along, we wanted to keep our eyes wide open for opportunity. Of course, our goal is to help our team get better. And that can happen through drafting players, that can happen through trading the picks. And so we wanted to understand what the opportunities were that were out there and compare those against our goals and make decisions based from there.
What's going on, everyone? Welcome to the Focus TV. We're joined as always by Octavia Wyatt, Raymond Lyons, Cardo Dudley Jr. I'm Wilson Tarpe Jr. We're going to get straight to it. As you guys can see, we kicked things off. Cardo was up at Capital One last night as the WNBA draft happened, which means media availability for the front office after they made the selections. Washington had 3 picks inside the top 10. We will break some of that down a little bit later, as well as hearing some audio that was captured from draft night in just a bit. But with The WNBA season is set to begin. That means the NBA season. The regular season has come to a close at least. Ray, the floor is yours. How did the Wizards wrap everything up?
Actually wrapped everything up on a good note. I had an exciting win over Chicago in the season finale. It's super fitting that Bub hit the game-winning shot. It's coming off a great rookie season, man. Shout out to him. He played all 82 games, and just continued to develop throughout the season. So yeah, man, it's a bright future for him. Just looking at what the Wizards have ahead in total, next year we should start to see some motion. They went through the tanking thing. I get it. I don't approve, but that's what we are now. They'll most likely be drafting extremely high. They'll get their guy, and then it'll be year 2 for this rookie class. They got a lot of live reps this year, so we should start to see part 1 of this plan start to get some motion. Like I said, man, all 3 rookies they played a lot, which is a good thing and a bad thing. The bad part about it is that means the Wizards weren't very good. The good part about it is these guys were able to get some experience, get a year under their belts. They basically played starters minutes for the majority of the season. And yeah, man, we saw them add stuff to their games. We saw them adjust. We got a good glimpse of what they need to improve on. We talked incessantly about Sarr. His main thing is just improving his body. Skill-wise, he obviously can compete at this level. He's versatile. He's got good size, good skill set. He just need to he needs to live in the weight room this summer. We talk about him not really being able to use everything at his disposal because of because he's behind physically. So yeah, man, once he gets that piece, then we should really start to see him do some damage. Bub, he grew as a point guard. He was able to run the team at times. We already knew he was capable of from mid range. He added the 3-ball. It was a little more consistent in that area. So yeah, man, he'll be able to continue to grow in that role. And defensively, he brings it. He competes hard every game. George, we also saw him able to spread his wings a little bit. He played a little point guard at times. He's got good size and length. He's a versatile wing player. He can do a lot of things on both ends. So yeah, man, I'm excited. We get to see this front office continue to implement their plan. So yeah, no more 15-win seasons. For me personally, what I want to see from them next year is they should be in striking distance of the play-in. I don't think that's too much to ask, given the talent they already have and the talent they're about to add. So yeah, man, it's from a win-loss standpoint, we kind of knew what it was going to be walking into this season. You just got to charge that to the game, but now it's time to get this thing trending in the right direction. And I'm optimistic that they'll be able to do that. These young guys really impressed me this year. We talked about it at the onset of the season that their development is going to be key to whatever the Wizards are going to have going on moving forward. So the fact that they were able to produce and they rose to the challenge, that makes me feel pretty good about the future. Then you got guys like Kispert. Bilal will be going into his 3rd year. Before he was sidelined with the injury, we saw the improvements to his game. That's a guy that's a perfect example of working on your body between your rookie year and your 2nd year, and things looking different on the court. He started to dish out some punishment instead of just taking it. We seen him with some strong finishes. He started to dunk on people, and guys were making business decisions. So that's a blueprint for Sarr to follow. So yeah, man, it's go time. We've been in the dumps long enough. We got some solid pieces to build around. It's time to make some noise. It's time to get this thing back rolling.
Sure. Also, as if you guys get a chance, get over to the channel. We've been doing as of late, kind of doing some mental exercises, looking forward for the Wizards, continuing off of what Ray was talking about in terms of, I know we've looked ahead to the different scenarios on draft night. Cardell and I took a little extra time after Sunday's game. Again, hell of a shot by Bub, where, we really kind of went in depth of looking at the roster for the next couple of years, just discussing what they can, like the possibilities that could happen. So get a chance to check that out. Also got a few exit interviews up there. It was refreshing to hear some of the veterans who had joined the team late talking about what they thought of the Wizards before they got here, and then what they are leaving, their impression of leaving the Wizards is, which is two totally different things. And the impression they had before they got here is the impression we all thought people had. So, in terms of several times it was mentioned that it was a, night off, career nights could be had. So shout out to this young group for changing that a little bit. Again, WNBA draft last night, so we're going to go ahead and shift gears. Let's take a look at the draft as a whole. Then we'll listen to the 3 first-round picks Washington had. And then Octavia and Ray want to hear what you guys have to say or what you guys think about them after hearing their audio. But first, we'll start as a whole. Cardell, let you lead this off. Your thoughts on the draft night as a whole.
I think it was a lot of teams as a whole trying to fill needs more so than just get the best talent. A lot of with the movement that went down in off season. I just think a lot of teams went with after the first 2 picks. Obviously, we knew Paige was going number 1, and Malanga from France. We knew she was going to. Hell, it was even a chance she might have went number 1, depending on the team. She's that talented, but I just think a lot of teams just went with more so needs, more so than talent, which is different than other drafts where it's like, who's the best talent? Let's get that. Shot making and versatility is what you saw throughout the draft for a number of teams, and like that's a byproduct of the movement that you just saw in the off season. It's gonna be a totally different WNBA than what we dealt with last year. A lot of new faces in a lot of different places, man. And the main thing is, can they build the chemistry up to be able to challenge the Liberty, the defending champs, or the Aces or whatnot. Also, some surprising drops for some players. Obviously Cheyenne, we've seen her grow throughout her career. Just knew she was going in the first round, not just the first round, the top half of the first round. To see her drop in the second was just it was a shock. You know what I mean? Honestly, I don't know how much Intel played a part in it because she did get banged up late in the season. Maybe that scared teams a little bit. I don't know. But she's definitely a first round worthy talent. So the Valkyries, they got one, for sure. I'm not mad at the Mystics draft, which we will get into in a minute. I'm in the middle. I'm not, let's say, jumping for joy, like, oh yeah, that one right there, they gonna kill. But I'm not in the dumps where it's like, what are they doing? It's not like that. It just remains to be seen. And I think that that's their approach. It's a new regime, new GM, new coach, new team this year. But these rookies will get every chance to prove themselves right away because they're going to need them. They're going to need them to kind of come in and make an impact right away, similar to what you kind of saw on the fella side of things. One thing I saw with the Mystics is that they definitely drafted some depth. Like they went all in on depth in the front court and in the back court. They're looking to have depth, and I think that's smart in a way because you're not going to be able to bang with the Liberty and the top teams eventually as these players continue to grow and the team chemistry continues to build. You're not going to be able to rumble with them if you don't have depth. Like having starting 5 or having 2 or 3 stars in the starting 5 that can go get it, but then your second unit is kind of subpar. It just won't get it. They're going to destroy you. They're going to overwhelm you eventually. You know what I mean? So, I like that. We just got to give them time, just like on the fella side, we got to give them time to grow because we all know the W's a different animal. One thing Jamila spoke on, the GM of the Mystics, Jamila Wyman, spoke on two things: speed and versatility. She kept harping on that. So they're going to play fast and they're going to have to be versatile. So what comes, a lot of people don't realize what comes with being versatile on the court. You got to know a lot. You got to know a lot of different positions. You got to know every position and what they do because the coach can throw you in that position at any given time. And you got to know how to operate in different positions and various roles on both ends of the court. And sometimes it's play to play, quarter to quarter, game to game. And that's not always tough. That's not always easy to do. It's very tough for players to catch on. So we're going to see how much they can, take on. I'm talking about the rookies from day one as, camp goes, preseason goes, and then we get into the regular season. Also the new team, the Golden State Valkyries, they went international heavy, and I'm not shocked by that. Being in the front office program with the NBA, blessed to be in that program. The GM for the Valkyries, heavy international presence. She's from overseas. So I think she got a feel on who the top talents are. Obviously, where they were picking, they didn't have a chance at Malonga, but they drafted some talents from overseas, and obviously people here always snub their nose at the international players because they don't know who they are, they never heard of them, but it's the job of professional teams to know who they are. So it's the same thing, wait and see based on the highlights and their production, the fact that they've been pros for years. It shouldn't be that much of an adjustment because it's rare you kind of get international players that come over here to the W because they don't always come to the W. Some just elect to stay over there, but the ones that do, they usually find their way to make some type of an impact, if they don't emerge as stars. So it's never for waste. And then, also, I think throughout this draft, the one position that was heavy was the wing. The wings were deep in this draft. And that goes to show you kind of with the dominant position is starting to emerge. The last few years, obviously, has been up front with the fours. We call them, I call them the unicorns, the Stewies, the John Quayles, the Asians. Those are the unicorns. You need one of those to really be able to bang. But you're starting to see the wings start to not, in a sense, emerge and catch up to that level, if not surpass it. So you need a variety of wings and versatile guards, players that can go through 1, 2, 3, play either position, and be able to guard those positions and be able to thrive, man. So, it's going to be fun, man. And I know Sarah Ashley Barker, that game against Maryland, she came up. That was a come-up game, man. That definitely moved up the draft boards because that was a hell of a performance, man. So it's just good to see a lot of the ladies that you saw produce throughout the season get their just due and accomplish the goal and accomplish the dream, man. So overall, it was a pleasant surprise. It was good to see. Also, shout out to the local products. They don't really get the pub that they should get, man. Isaiah James, I know she's not typically from the DMV, but she has ties playing AAU coming up here. She came, rest in peace to her brother who definitely had ties up here, who's headed to Missouri State. She's dynamic, man. I'm eager to see what she does in the league. And Madison Scott, DMV product, she doesn't get as much pub, as let's say AZ Fudd does, but she's been very productive in her college career in her own right, man. I'm glad she went early in the second round. That kind of typically means she'll stick unless she just stink up the joint, which I don't expect her to do. Not with her versatility and the way she could defend, man. So I'm glad they kind of saw her for the type of player she is and not just picking at weaknesses to just lie. We can't deal with that. They accept that, that goes on a lot in evaluations during pre-draft or where they kind of just nitpick the weaknesses but don't want to give props to the strengths. And she has a lot to offer. And the thing is, it's not like they can't get better. That's my thing. If you have a work ethic, all right, those weaknesses, we can make those strengths. Especially with the women's game, they pretty much play year round. So you have no choice but to get better, or you're gonna have to get another career soon. That's just how it goes, man. So, but man, shout out to them, man, for representing the area, and that should give inspiration to all the other ladies, the young girls that's coming up. That it's not just the fella size that's represented around here, man. So all in all, man, very good draft. Just time to get to work and see what goes down when the season starts.
Octavia, your thoughts on the WNBA draft as a whole. And again, after we're done with this part of the conversation, we'll jump into the Mystics in depth.
Yeah, I think Cardell kind of covered it pretty well. I'll be honest. I think, like he said, Cheyenne Slippin was really the only thing that kind of threw me off a little bit in the draft. I don't know if a lot of people watch Maryland games. It seems like they don't. But like he also said, who knows what the reason for. We do know that she has had some injuries in the past, but she's one of the toughest players because she fights through most of those injuries and still goes out there and performs and produces. So very happy to see her, especially end up in a new situation with the Valkyries, a brand new team, where she has a huge shot of making the team. I think for me, for the draft, that's really stood out the most. Like Cardell also stated, that you could see that a lot of teams are going after needs and not just big names and not just, the marquee player or anything. They were really looking for players that fit what they were trying to do. And I think that in that aspect, there's a lot of opportunities for these girls to actually stick on teams. I think in the last couple of drafts, it's been kind of hard because, we talk about it. There are first round draft picks from 2-3 seasons ago from draft that aren't even playing in the league, unfortunately, just because we know how hard it is to play and to stick in the W. So I think that, of course, talking about the Mystics, they have a lot of openings, which is why they had a lot of draft picks as well. But I think a lot of these players have a really, really good opportunity to actually stick in the league. I think a lot of them ended up in good situations to help them. Some of it just kind of fell perfectly for some of them. Some of them, I'm sure they didn't think they were going to go where they went. I think, like you said, the no-burners with Paige and Malonga, especially when Olivia Miles dropped out. And to think about it, that as in my opinion, as easy as this draft went, like I said, I don't really feel like anything was too crazy. It could have been completely different because there was about 3 or 4 girls that decided to stay in college and not even into the draft. We talk about Olivia Miles, Flage, in that situation. So I think all in all, it was a good, decent draft. Definitely, I'm looking forward to it. I think that a lot of these players have the opportunity to prove themselves as well. Even those in the 3rd round, there's some good players out there where they get into situations that can kind of parlay them into a longer period of time in the W. I think this year is going to have way more opportunities for them to stick as long as they play their best. And, like you said, the season is literally a month away. So they really have no downtime. They literally left the NCAA tournament, hit the stage for the draft, and I'm sure they're already gearing up to start training camp as the season starts in about a month. So to me, there wasn't anything like huge, big surprises. I'm like kind of what Cardell said, like a lot of it for me is like wait and see how it all kind of plays out, because again, these ladies have a lot of talent. I'm just looking forward to see how it meshes with the new faces in the new places, like you stated as well, because we know in the W, there's been a lot of movement going on from players who were on one team and now they're on a completely different team. So a lot of these teams are going to have new pieces mixed in with these young players as well. So just interested to see how that's going to work out.
Ray, your thoughts? Oh, go ahead, Cardell. You about to jump in?
It's one thing. Also, my bad. I forgot about Leala King from Notre Dame, DC born as well. She's another local product. She don't get as much pub as Citron and Miles and her dog or whatever, but she held it down inside for Notre Dame, and that's why she was a big part of their success as well. I want to just put her in that group as well.
Ray, your thoughts on the draft as a whole?
Yeah, man. It's always a good night, man. I always enjoy the WNBA draft. Like everybody else, I was kind of shocked to see Cheyenne fall that far, but I mean, we all know what type of player she is, so I think that situation is going to work itself out, and it's got to be exciting for her to be in on the ground floor with the Valkyrie. That's a good spot for her to be in, man. New team, it's just, of course, she's getting top-notch facilities and all that stuff. So glad she landed there. And also, I was a little shocked not to see Diamond Johnson get drafted. But I mean, we all know what type of player she is, and I think if she can get into a training camp or something, I think she'll make a team. She's been dynamic her entire college career, and we've seen her be able to compete with pretty much every name at her position that was called. So yeah, man, just looking forward to seeing how she navigates this situation. But one thing that definitely stood out to me as the draft was going on and the names were being called, this draft is deep as hell. Like people, they don't get the publicity and the pub as last year's draft, but they was calling out them names and like they can go band for band if we being honest. So I'm really excited to see how these rookies translate into the W. But like Cardell said, man, and Octavia as well, all the movement we saw and teams have retooled, and this is gonna be a hell of a season, man. I can't wait. The W is trending in the right direction for sure. The last season was competitive as hell, and I think this season is going to take it up a notch. We saw what the Liberty did personnel wise. No secret, they're trying to repeat. I think adding Natasha Cloud was huge for them. And then other teams as well. Minnesota, they still going to be in the mix. They really didn't do too much, but they really didn't have to because obviously they were in the finals last year. Yeah, man. Phoenix, they retool. So it's going to be super interesting, man. But yeah, just definitely congratulations to all the ladies that had the opportunity, had their name called last night. Definitely looking forward to seeing them get to work.
Yeah, as you guys all mentioned, just starting off with Shy, watching her all 4 years here. The biggest thing, Cardell, I know we were in a group chat, you, me, and Ray, last night, told was initially was just, I wish she got to go through this year injury free to see how this draft shakes out. That said, Golden State, I have to learn how to say the young lady's name they took with the 5th pick, but you want to talk about start for the ground up, ground floor, what have you. That's a big backcourt. It's a big young backcourt, man, with 2 guards that are capable of being lead guards. Hey, man, I'm not mad at it. I'm not mad at that at all for them. That said, Octavia you guys talked about the depth and all these players. I think the other thing is I hope some of the players that were holding some of the, and I'm not saying it's a bad way, some of the role players in the league after all this movement are ready to fight to keep their jobs. This group of young ladies, I think a lot of them are suited to come in, and until they figure things out, fully, their ground floor, they're capable of taking those rotation spots. So I hope, the ladies that currently have those spots are ready. I know one name that surprised me was Thierry, who plays at Ohio State. She has a clip. I think she went in the 3rd round. If that's somebody you got in a 3-and-D role, she's going to excel. She was asked to do more than that at Ohio State. Talk about Anissa Morrow, can get after on the glass, what have you. There's just a lot of people who are comfortable playing roles in the teams they were in that while you're trying to figure it out here, that's a deep 2nd round. I know I keep flipping through it while you guys been talking. That 2nd round is crazy. The 3rd round looks even crazier. As I tell you said, how many years have we seen where the whole everyone's 1st round doesn't stick? This 2nd round and some of this 3rd round might be moving people into free agency. So I can't wait to see some of these battles in camp, what have you. That said, get over to the Mystics.
Real quick.
Go ahead.
So on Diamond Johnson, I kind of feel, I'm with you. I kind of feel like she should have won the 3rd round. But the thing that scared her was the size, man, 5'5". I talked to some other, WNBA personnel about that. I'm like, why you think she dropped? And they said the size. And also, she put up numbers, but she was highly inefficient against the more high major teams and stuff like that when they rumble with them. You know what I mean? I know they beat Auburn, but she was 6 or 17. And think about that, they're looking at it, well, you know, even Maryland is kind of the same thing. She didn't shoot well, but she got like 18 or whatnot. So if you can't handle that consistently against the high major, what are you going to do in the W? When, like Wilson said, you got 6'2", 6'3" guards that are moving, and that's what's scaring them. You know, to be honest, man, like hopefully she get invited to camp and be able to prove them wrong. That's what it's about, man. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes you just got to make believers out of people, but that's the knock. You know, that's the thing, man. So, you know, because it was one girl I was looking at that went, I'm not trying to pick on her, but Michigan, Jordan Hobbs. So I looked at Jordan Hobbs' numbers. I'm like, man, she shot 41%, and that's what I asked. But then she was like, yeah, but she's 6'3". So she can help you in other areas if she can. Offensively, she never gets up the bar and stuff. Whereas Diamond, if she can't shoot well, and when I mean be a pest on defense, Muggsy Bogues-esque, like, I don't want to dribble against her. Here, you take it. If it's not on that level, I mean, it's gonna be tough, man. It's gonna be tough, man, and that's just the reality of the pro level. It is what it is.
All right, we're gonna go ahead and listen to some of the audio from last night. Cardo got a draft availability. We'll go through the 3 first-round picks, and again, I'm gonna try to play them back to back to back. And after that, I want to hear what Octavian Ray have to think. I already heard some of it. Cardell was there to hear it live. So you guys listening, as you guys, you all tuning in as well, please do the same. We'll get this up on screen, and we'll start with Miss Citron. Here we go.
I'm here with the media in Washington. There's quite a large contingent here who's excited to speak with you. So we're going to take some time to answer some of their quick questions. We're going to ask them to each individually introduce themselves so you have a little bit of clarity, and then go ahead. Kareem?
Hey, what's up, Sonia? Congratulations. This is Kareem Copeland from the Washington Post.
Nice to meet you.
Nice meeting you also. As the season was going on, actually, I was asking some of your teammates kind of what part of your game doesn't get enough credit. And so that's why I'm going to ask you the same thing. Of do a little bit of self-evaluation. You know, we know you for your versatility, but what don't you think you get enough credit for?
Yeah, I think that I am a great off-ball player. I think that I'm really good at cutting and knowing when to cut and just moving without the ball. And then I also think I'm great at just running in transition. I'd say those 2 things.
And just a quick follow-up to that, has that always come naturally, or do you feel like that was something that you specifically worked to develop?
I honestly think it has always come naturally. I've always loved to cut and just read the eyes of my point guard. And yeah, I think it's something that I've always done.
Cool. Thank you.
Hi, Sonia.
Thank you.
Hi, Sonia. Brandy Sims from Sports Illustrated. How you doing?
Good. How are you?
Good, thanks. How do you feel about joining the Washington Mystics organization? What are your thoughts?
Yeah, I feel amazing. I mean, I'm really, really excited. I think it's a great team. It's a great opportunity to come and try and, just impact the team in different ways, whatever ways will help the team win. So I'm really excited. I think it's a great opportunity.
Thank you.
Hi, Sonia. Jen Hadfield with the Next. Georgia was talking in her interviews in New York just about how excited she is to play with you. And I'm curious, how much you've gone against Kiki and Georgia before or played with them and kind of your thoughts on teaming up with them.
Yeah, I mean, they're 2 incredible players, so I'm extremely excited. I think I played against Kiki once this past year when she was at USC, and I definitely did not want to, try to test her. I was happy that I didn't have to guard her. But Georgia, I played a bunch when she was at Virginia Tech. So for 3 years, I was one that guarded her, having to chase it over, under a screen, just terrible. She was getting me exhausted. But I'm happy that I don't have to be the one to guard her anymore, and we're on the same team. So I'm excited for that.
Sonia, Tyler Byram with Monumental Sports Network. Congratulations on getting selected to the Mystics.
Thank you.
Just overall, what was this whole process like for you going in? And I know it was a short turnaround from the tournament to now tonight, but just from step 1 till now, what was it all like for you?
Yeah, honestly, it's gone by so fast. It was just a lot of trying to get ready, you know, and that entailed different things. I talked to my performance team to see what was the best thing for me to do. And then just going to classes, training, trying to get better, trying to get ready. And then obviously there was a lot of nerves and anxiousness, just wanting to know where I'm going to go. And now I can say that, you know, it's a huge sigh of relief, knowing where I'm going to go. So now I'm just excited for the next part and getting ready for training camp and what's next.
There were a lot of people prognosticating you to go pretty high in this draft. Did you still believe it when it happened and you heard the commissioner calling your name?
Yeah. I mean, it was obviously it's nice to hear that. I don't think I really paid any mind to it just because I know that doesn't really mean anything. But obviously it was really nice. It did happen. It's amazing. I'm extremely grateful. And yeah, it was an amazing feeling.
Sonia Carita Parks with Double Take Sports. You talked a bit about being excited to join the Mystics, but how does it feel to be one of the first pieces that the new leadership team for the Mystics picked in the draft?
Yeah, I mean, I think that's a huge honor. I think it speaks to what they see in me and what they think I can do. And I just want to, you know, prove them right and live up to that. And again, just try and contribute in any way that I can to help the team win. So I'm ready to fulfill any role that I need to, whatever will help the team win.
Hey, Sonia, this is Jade Lawson from 7 News. How you doing?
Good, how are you?
Congratulations.
Thank you.
You had the opportunity to play under Coach Neil Ivey at Notre Dame. Was there any advice that she gave you as a coach and as a former WNBA player going into this process?
Yeah, honestly, just be confident, be yourself, be confident. She's someone that has always instilled confidence into me. She believed in me when I didn't believe in myself. And through these 4 years, her confidence in me made me confident. And so just continuing to embrace that, be confident, know what I bring to the table, never doubt it. And again, just be myself, be ready to learn, to grow, and take it all in.
I think that's it. Thank you, Sonia. We are here in Washington with a local contingent of media who have a couple questions for you. So they're going to identify themselves and then ask their question afterwards.
Okay, sounds good.
Hey, what's up, Kiki? Congratulations. This is Kareem Copeland from the Washington Post.
Thank you.
Just a quickie, you know, you've talked in the past about kind of what you wanted to kind of get out of this last year as you went to USC. And now you've kind of gone through it. How do you think that has kind of prepared you for this moment and prepared you to be, you know, ready to enter the league?
Definitely. I think the league is not going to get any easier than what college was. So for me, taking all the adversity, all the growth that I had to take in this year, kind of having a head start on that, I think will help translate in the W because I've been used to uncomfortable. I've been used to having to navigate all of that. And I think some of the biggest things that I took from this year was just honing in on the little details, honing in on what I can control, stepping up different areas of my game, such as defense and being a better leader. So I plan to take all of that to DC as well. But I'm truly excited for an opportunity for a fresh start, an opportunity to, you know, earn a spot, earn my keep at DC, and just to, you know, be in a new city.
Just a real quick follow-up to that. You talked about defense and leadership. Anything else or those any other details that you could share with us that you kind of really focused on?
In terms of defense and leadership?
No, just other details about your game that you kind of focused on this year.
Definitely. I think I was just more intentional about my pick and rolls. That's not something I really worked with in, you know, my other 3 seasons at Stanford. So this year, playing with guards who could create and, you know, kind of reading my pick and roll situations and my rolling and my popping and my rescreening. So I feel like that was another area that this year was to have a greater mental IQ when it comes to basketball.
Cool. Thank you.
Hi, Kiki. Jen Hadfield from The Next. I'm just curious, you know, coming to Washington, joining a front court that has players like Aaliyah Edwards, Shakira Austin, Steph Dolson, just how excited are you to kind of join that group and learn with and play alongside some of those guys?
Yeah, I'm super excited. You know, Steph and Aaliyah, we've been with them all weekend here at the draft, so it's been exciting to talk to them and not to be teammates with them. I'm super pumped about. And then Shakira, I worked out with her a little bit in the summer when she was down in LA, so I'm familiar with all 3 of them, but I'm excited to learn from them. I'm excited to compete against them, and, you know, I'm just excited to, you know, have another opportunity to play basketball.
Not to put you on the spot, but just to follow up, you know, are there ways that from what you know about how they play, you feel like you complement them or maybe bring something just a little different?
Yeah, I think they all are just very aggressive. They play with so much intensity and just are relentless when they play. So I feel like that's something that I'm going to add to and contribute to. I'm going to definitely add some of my outside shooting, plan to stretch the floor as well. But just keeping up with them, I feel like going against great players that are in my similar position will only make me better.
Awesome. Thank you.
Kiki, congratulations. Tyler Byron with Monumental Sports Network.
Thank you.
You mentioned opportunity that you have with this team. I mean, it's going to be a brand new team, new general manager, new coach, new style. What are you most excited about with having just this, you mentioned, fresh slate ahead of you?
I'm excited to be a part of what the Mystics are building. What an opportunity to come in and kind of help shape the culture that we want to go to and the direction that we want to go to. So I feel like there's so much right there in terms of just being one of the first few to help us get to this vision that our GM and our coach has for us. But I think also playing with a lot of youth, like, you know, there's 2 other girls that got drafted to the Mystics in the same draft, and then they have a lot of young players as well. So to be able to play with them, I think will be super exciting.
And I know this is all just happening real quick, but speaking with either Jamila or Sydney, what are maybe some of those things that you are most, like, the things that you mentioned for carrying into this year?
Yeah, Coach Johnson just talked about pace. He loves pace. He wants us to be able to score in the first 8 seconds of the shot clock. So I feel like that's something that I'm definitely going to bring is my motor. I'm going to run that floor. That's one thing I know I can do. So I'm going to make sure I run that floor and just bringing in my defensive intensity. That's something that we talked about when we were doing interviews, was just making sure that I'm, you know, staying with that. That's something that they noticed from me at USC, that I improved defensively and switching on to guard. So he definitely told me to make sure I bring that with me when I move to DC.
Any other questions for Kiki? Kiki, going a completely different direction, but can you tell us the inspiration for your outfit tonight?
Yes, so my outfit was designed by a Nigerian designer. Her name is Nneka Alexander, and this is something that I've been dreaming about. I was like, draft day, I'm going to do something with Nigeria, whether it's fabric, designer, something. So I really wanted to work with her so that I could kind of showcase a piece of my culture on like one of the biggest days of my life. And then I also used some Nigerian accessories to complete the whole look.
Great, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Mystics PR, congratulations.
Thank you, I appreciate it so much.
We have a contingent of media here in Washington who would love to speak with you. So they're going to introduce themselves and then they'll follow up with their question afterwards, okay?
Sounds good.
Hey, what's up, Georgia? Kareem Copeland from the Washington Post. Congratulations.
Thank you, I'm super thrilled.
Cool. Just a quickie for you. You know, what part of your game do you think will translate the best to the league?
Absolutely. My IQ, the way that I think I'm a traditional point guard, you know, my evaluation and my ability to connect some teammates together. That's something that I take really big pride in, and I play with a lot of joy, a lot of excitement. So just bringing that leadership, you know, being able to connect everyone, that's something I'm super excited to do.
Cool. That's quick and easy for me. Thank you.
Perfect. Thank you.
Hi, Georgia. Jen Hadfield from The Next. Obviously, you're joining Jade Melbourne in Washington. Just curious, you know, how much have you played with her over the years, and just how excited are you to kind of team up with and learn from and play with her here in Washington?
I'm so excited because Jade and I grew up playing with each other, with and against. We were on national teams together, state teams together. Even when I was in college and she was finishing up, she played at home in my hometown, Ballarat. So it's very recent. Like, we're always around each other. My family has such respect for Jade. I think everyone in Australia actually does. But the impact she's had, I know, on my little sister, I couldn't be more grateful for. So I'm super excited to be with Jade. And her personality, the way she plays, it's so infectious. And, you know, just, it's going to be a whole lot of fun. You know, it's someone that is Australian, but I've genuinely spent time with, before all of this is happening.
And then, you know, it sounds like you were saying earlier from the draft that you've been excited to potentially play with Sonia for a long time. Can you just tell us a little bit about that, how that kind of started and how it feels knowing that you're now going to be her teammate?
Yeah, we played against each other when she was at Notre Dame and I was in Virginia Tech. Every single game we played them, she was guarding me, you know, and they had like a Hannah, you know, but they put Sonia on me. I always complimented her on how great her defense was and how, you know, stone cold killer she was. She had that attitude where no matter how many times I tried to shake her or try and, you know, brush her off, she kept coming back almost like I dare you to again. So her mentality is great, and I'm a massive fan of her game. I think she's amazing.
Awesome. Thanks and congrats.
Thank you.
Hey, Georgia. Tyler Byram with Monumental Sports Network. Congratulations.
Thank you.
You mentioned the IQ being one of the strongest elements of your game. I'm just curious, what do you do to try and strengthen that area as you kind of go forward into the WNBA?
Yeah, I mean, obviously a lot's going to come through experience. I know I'm not going to be perfect, but I have the most perfect intent. But on top of that, it's film, it's connection with the coaching staff, it's connection with the girls. My IQ, it comes obviously from, you can talk about the reads on the court, but I study it. I study the game of basketball. I love the intricacies. And I just it's always been kind of a superpower, or the way that I've been able to compete is, the way I can make evaluations or be willing to expand the mental capacity of the game. It's something that I've never become complacent with. It's something I take such pride in. So I'm looking forward to coming there and growing it even more.
Hi, Georgia. It's Brandy Sims from Sports Illustrated. How you doing?
Good, how are you?
Good, thanks. How much are you looking forward to taking your game to the next level in the WNBA?
Yeah, I'm absolutely thrilled. Everybody wants this opportunity. I was just thankful and lucky enough to get one. So now it's up to me to make the most of it. And, I'm just so thankful and blessed, and I can't wait to push myself and put myself in the best basketball environment there is.
Thank you.
Hey, Georgia, it's Jade with 7 News. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Really quickly, thinking about how far you've come from Australia to Virginia Tech to Kentucky, now to WNBA draft night. What's that been like? What's the moment been like for you?
It's been so massive. I think you have a little bit of reflection about how much it took to get here, and everyone's stories is different. But I love that every opportunity, or majority of the opportunities that I've been presented, I've made the most out of, and always found the silver lining. So I guess that's why my feet are where they are right now.
That was all three. That was all three young ladies that were selected in the first round. Washington did still have 2 more picks that they made. Later it was Lucy Olsen and Zay Green. But Octavia and Ray, your thoughts on what these young ladies had to say, and if you had anything to add to the selections as a whole. And then Cardell, if you had anything to add, just jump in after Ray.
Oh, me first?
Yes, ma'am.
Oh, my bad. No, first of all, I like to applaud that you can tell these young ladies have gone through media training. So, number one, off the back, I appreciate it because they ain't get out there and say nothing crazy. So yeah, I mean, I think they all had great things to say. I think they all seem very self-aware of themselves, which I think is always a great thing. Like, they all pretty much know what they do well and what they want to bring to the table. I think they all are correct in the fact that they have been afforded a pivotal opportunity to kind of, like we talked about with Cheyenne getting in with the team from the ground floor. This is kind of the same thing in that aspect. Granted, of course, the Washington Mystics have been around, but again, like we stated earlier, brand new coach, brand new GM, pretty much all of the vets are gone. It's going to be a youth movement going on, and I think all 3 of these young ladies have a good head on their shoulders. I think they have a great work ethic. I think they all have been fortunate to also play for really good coaches in their collegiate careers as well. And I think that will also help them translate their game to the W. Again, like Cardell kind of said too, like I want to see it actually all get put together. To see, like, even listening to Kiki talk about, playing with the likes of Steph and Aaliyah Edwards. Aaliyah Edwards is looking to take a bigger jump this year, and Kira, I like to see her in the mix with them. Like, I'm excited to see that. And I'm excited really to see I feel like we all kind of have a thought of what the Mystics' goal is or how they plan on playing. It seems like they're going to play pretty fast. So I'm excited to see, it all kind of come together, and it's going to come very quickly, as we know, a month left until the season starts. But yeah, I'm excited for all 3 ladies. I'm hoping that they all stick, and I'm hoping that it all works out well. But yeah, that's pretty much all I got.
Ray, your take from the young ladies' first media availability.
Yeah, man. I mean, they just sound like they're ready to get to work. But like Octavia pointed out, the opportunity's there. They're basically starting from scratch. And, all 3 of those ladies, as well as the other 2 draft picks, the Mystics selected, they have an opportunity to address some needs immediately. So, whoever can show improve in training camp or what have you, they're going to get the opportunity. Like Ardell said, on set of the show, I like the picks, man. It's going to be definitely it's going to be some some trial and error going on for sure, because the position that the Mystics are in right now. But I think Kiki, I mean, she's going to be able to have an impact immediately. She's technician on the block. She can rebound. Defensively, she has a strong presence. And for Sonia and Georgia, they'll be able to provide some stability at the point guard position, which the Mystics sorely need. And another thing, if people need to stay healthy, that's been a huge issue for the Mystics over the past few years. So that strength and conditioning team, hopefully they've evaluated what they've done and can get a little more consistent in that area. But yeah, man, I'm optimistic. I think these ladies have a great opportunity. They can come in and produce. Then the sky's the limit.
Cardell, if you had anything to add.
No, I spoke on it earlier.
Okay. All right. Well, look, you guys have said pretty much everything. My little 2 cents. Like I was saying, having a conversation earlier, I don't think they took any super big swings with their 3 first-round picks. That said, similar to the men's side, the 5 young ladies have a chance to come in, make their imprint, and they can affect how the roster shape going forward. And it's up to them to do that. But nothing but opportunity in front of them. We'll see how things go. That's it. Cardell, floor is yours. Rapid fire, take it or leave it, wherever you want to begin.
Yeah, get a couple questions in before we get up out of here. We're going to start on college football side of things. Interesting story that developed late last week throughout the weekend and continues now in the spring of 2022. Nico, I hope I don't butcher his name, Iamaleava, then just a high school junior, agreed to a 4-year deal worth approximately $8 million with Tennessee's NIL collective, Spire Sports Group. It included a $350,000 upfront payment with money paid out during his senior season at Warren High School in California. It was a bold and strategically smart play by Tennessee. While the schools were cautious with the NIL and the NCAA, was feverishly trying to set up the so-called guardrails, the ball smartly saw where things were headed. When the NCAA eventually challenged the deal, the state's attorney general stepped in and won an injunction. Now, the player who was once cheered and who was paid millions before becoming a full-time starter at Tennessee is the poster child for NIL backlash. Rather than play out the final season of his deal, which would pay him about $2.2 million, Iamaleava reportedly wanted some $4 million that was added with the other quarterbacks who transferred this year were getting. Asking for more was his right, but with right comes risk. As with any negotiations, you can push too far. Iamaleava is a promising tough player. He had 19 touchdown passes last season. Tennessee head coach Hooper and Iamaleava had a strong relationship, but when the quarterback didn't report to practice last Friday, there was little choice. Quote, "We're moving on as a program without him," Hooper would say later. He said, quote, "There's nobody bigger than the power T," Hooper said. He said, quote, "If they want to play holdout, they might as well play get out." So now Iamaleava has become the poster child for an athlete in college not upholding his side of the deal with contract negotiations and the NIL process. I feel like it's a bit of a foreshadow of what's coming, forecast of what's coming with a lot of players who are playing games who don't understand how business works and understand when you sign on that contract, obligations have to be met, or it can get very ugly. And you can, as we say, jam yourself up. With that being said, Octavia, we're going to start with you. Do you agree with Coach Hooper's decision and just the situation overall?
Yeah, first of all, I love the line. If you're gonna hold out, you might as well get out. Like that's he dropped the bar there. But I mean, like Cardell said too, like I feel like this is where it's starting to go, and I think that this could be considered a test case. I feel like depending on the outcome of how this is going to go, it can shift the direction in one way or the other. I feel like if a lot of players see this happen and it don't go too well for my man, a lot of them might rethink it. Now, of course, not all of them. But if he ends up getting what he wants, that's what scares me to make me think that more players are going to try their hand in this situation. I don't like it. You know, it's hard because I really do feel like I was very much pro these players. You know, these college athletes deserve to be compensated for their image and likeness. You know, they deserve it. But I think we're getting to the point where now they're starting to overdo it a little bit. I think it's also difficult because, yeah, they see coaches are able to move in and out and demand this and demand that, but then I don't think they realize that they're not the coach, they're the talent, and that sometimes you can't always get the same thing that everybody else gets. And I mean, granted, I don't watch Tennessee much, so I can't speak on his play specifically. But some of the things I read was, you know, it's kind of hard when he's not even a top 10 quarterback in the SEC, who is trying to stranglehold a university for more money. So it's a sticky situation. I think this is also showing precedence and showing a test case where they need to start putting some ramifications or some rails on all of this. Like you said, like this is like the tipping of what can happen in collegiate sports. As you see, like this one case is not, I don't want to say started an uproar, but started a lot of discussions and debates about how this can actually go if somebody else were to do this and it was to continue on and continue on and continue on. And I think this is what a lot of the old guard, as far as the older coaches, were worried about. You know, not even just in football, but of course we know in basketball as well. Or any top, you know, collegiate athlete or collegiate program that is a big revenue for said school. So I think it's a very sticky situation. I hope some of these players keep a head on their shoulder and realize that you're potentially putting yourself in a situation where now you have nowhere to play. I mean, spring season is almost over. What are you going to end up doing? Are you going to end up trying to get somewhere else where now you might possibly not even play? Are you going to be making less than what you would have made had you just stick with your commitments, you know, and do what you need to do? So it's a tough situation. I am interested to see how it all pans out. I think that I had heard some rumblings that maybe North Carolina was interested, but I think they already put that to bed where they're not even going to touch the situation. So it'll be very interesting to see where he ends up or not ends up.
Right.
Yeah, man, I think Octavia categorized it perfectly. This is going to be the litmus test. You know, depending on how this works out, yeah, I think it's going to dictate, you know, how this goes moving forward. You know, I'm with the university. Like, dude, holding out in college, like, where are we right now? You know, I think they should nip this in the bud, like right now. Like, don't even entertain the conversation anymore. Just because, yeah, this is ridiculous. It's ridiculous. And like Octavia said, man, like I got no problem with, you know, them getting some compensation. You know, they generate a lot of money for these universities and whatnot, but we going too far. And again, like you're not even on the top level of talent. So where does the audacity come from to move this way? You know, this is unbecoming of the number one quarterback in the country. So why do you think you can do it? But that's the world we live in. I'm glad I don't have to deal with it. he'd have been kicked out of his dorm room already. As far as I'm concerned, like, because we're in a society where people want more than what they've earned. So yeah, man, this is foolishness. I really hope that they don't bend or fold, because yeah, like I said, this will open the floodgates. I'm pretty sure people were thinking about it already, and they're watching how this plays out. And people are not going to like it, but they need to make an example out of him. Plain and simple. Like this is nonsense.
Wilson.
Hey man, him and his pops had too much dip on that chip, man. Leave that alone. You're doing way too much, buddy. It's the SEC. They will find more football players. That is the wrong conference for this nonsense right here, sir. Think about it. You got your money, then they pay 2 more people who are in competition with you. That should let you know right there, they don't have a money issue. They didn't even feel super comfortable about the money they gave you. They doubled down and paid 2 other quarterbacks behind you. Brother, what are you doing? You think the coach was about to be upset? They probably feel like they didn't get enough return on their investment from last year. That's it. I didn't think he should have chosen Tennessee to begin with. But again, this goes with those decisions. People make decisions and think that you don't have to stick to your decisions and no consequences to your decisions. One, I think it was a poor choice for where he wants to go, which is the next level. I don't think Tennessee's offense is great for him. 2, that's it. You didn't have to choose Tennessee, but you and your team or whatever probably saw the bread, got what you wanted, you're stuck there. So you signed what you signed. There's no cutting it up and renegotiating and everything else. What are you doing? What are you doing? And this is football. This isn't basketball. Football is known for just let you be the person that everybody's sick of, or you represent the thing that everybody's sick of. They're just gonna leave you out in the wind and let you see what happens. Like, think about it, right? No one in the country wants you. People should have been knocking down your door, but think about what you just did. Cardell, you mentioned you had, what was it, the governor use an injunction to get you paid? And you acting out. Oh, you tripping. Them boosters probably calling everybody they know. Nah, not him. Like, what do you? It's just crazy. Like Ray said, it's not even like you came in the SEC and set the world on fire. Bro, chill out. You should just went back to work, cooked this year, and then maybe, let the school be like, hey, let's give you a bonus or something. But what are you doing? It's just crazy. But again, like Octavia said, someone always wants to be an example, right? Congratulations.
Yeah, he's not only going to be the poster child on the football side. I think he's going to be the poster child for all college sports. When you sign on the dotted line, you got to uphold your part in that contract. Period. This ain't the NBA. This isn't the NFL. You can start complaining in a couple years before your deal expires because you want more money and stuff. And typically, even at that level, those are the players that actually outperform their contract, and that's why they feel, yo, I need to get more money and stuff like that. And they start acting. Someone go about the wrong way, but at least they have something to stand on because they balled out. You didn't ball out, and this is the problem with the youngest today. They don't want to listen. Their circle is just so caught up in the delusion of the fantasy of my son is this and that and all that. That they're so out of whack with reality that they can't even give their kids sound advice with what's going on. Not to mention, they probably have no experience with dealing with these type of situations as far as high level business and stuff. You were getting paid in high school. You got paid in high school before you even threw a pass, before you even stepped on campus. And I went back last year just to see, because the narrative is like, he only balled against subpar competition. If you look at the schedule, that's true. He balled against the lower half of the SEC and you know, the non-conference teams that they had. But against the big dogs, the Georgias and all that, it wasn't none of that. Also in the bowl game, Ohio State, the playoffs, my man was 14 of 31 for 104 yards, sacked 4 times. Now he did run for it, had 20 attempts for 82 yards. But you lost 42-17. See, that's why we gotta go out and get a couple more quarterbacks. Because at the very least, if you was that dude, we just gonna be in the shootout. If our defense can't stop them, we just gonna be in the shootout. That's how I gotta go. It wasn't none of that. The game was over first half. So you're asking for something that your play and your actions don't warrant. And it goes back to the Michael Jordan interview back when I was in college. When they asked him, he said he feel like the kids are receiving things that they haven't earned. And he said he didn't want to come off as a bitter old school type of guy, but he felt like the game was being cheated because of the kids being rewarded from the efforts of players and what they did prior to them coming in, and they're cheating the game because they're reaping the benefits off of what other players prior to them did. It's as simple as that, man. Like he said that, and people gave him backlash like, Jordan, man, you retired, you old school and all that. And look at this reality we're in now. Look at this. Look where we at. Like it's like, what world are y'all living in? And again, what's making me concerned is this in the future generation, they're gonna be in the workforce, and they really think the world moves like that. Like you could just switch jobs at any time. It don't work like that, man. Like you don't get hired when they see you have a frequency of moving and getting a job and quitting. They don't hire you. Then you're gonna be unemployed and wondering what happened. Whatever happened to integrity and just being a man of your word, bro. I get some coaches, some programs are dirty. Believe me, I've not heard all the stories, know of them, some of them. But it's not everybody. You can't just, it's not a broad blanket. You can't just say everybody's a part of that. That's just the whole system is grimy and stuff like that, because everybody's not. And who cares? 2 wrongs don't make it right. You should be moving with integrity. That's part of being a leader. So how you gonna be a leader? And that's why it's easy for him to cut you, because it's like, 1, you tripping off asking for more money when your play don't warrant it. 2, as a quarterback, I need you to be my leader. You ain't being a leader right now. You're being selfish. So there's literally no reason for me to hold on to you. And if I did hold on to you, this is gonna start a trickle-down effect. I'm gonna have the wide receiver coming and asking for money, the offensive lineman asking for, holding out for more money, my best linebacker, my best safety, my best cornerback. It's gonna be a trickle-down effect. And the bottom line is, we didn't win the SEC, we didn't win the national championship. What the hell are y'all coming in here asking for more money for? The only team that should be, players that should be doing that, the national champions. They have the right to go in the office, and that's if they ball, and played. The guys that produce, they should be going in there and saying that type of stuff. But once you sign on the dotted, man, you got to hold up your end of the bargain. And far too many people and players in college are just allowed to get away with murder. And this is about to go down. Like they about to start putting in little writing. If you don't do this, if you don't have these type of stats, if you don't go to class, if you late for this meeting, I'm taking the money. Like the audacity, man. It's like, what do we, I'm afraid of the future, bro, because this stuff about to be crazy, man. Like I've just never seen this. 4 million, man. Like, do you know how much money that is, bro? Like I'm just never, like, you got kids that didn't even play. They don't even have stats. Asking for $1 million. Like asking for, like, you didn't even do nothing. What the? I wouldn't even give you $5 to play on my team, bro. Like, who are these people telling you that you're worth that, man? Business 101, I keep saying, you can't make demands until you're in demand. If no one's demanding for you or putting out a demand for your services, chances are you're not that good. Or you're not as covered as you think you are, and you set yourself up for failure. Because what happens if this kid don't get picked up? Because now, just like players talk, coaches talk. So I'm pretty sure indirectly they like, we ain't mess with him. It's probably a whole conversation going on amongst coaches. Leave him out there. This is gonna check everybody else for us. Because see, now players be like, so what they do. So what they happened to quarterback with homie in Tennessee? Nah, man, just go ahead and play out, bro. You don't want that. Because now he possibly could be without a school. Now next year he gonna be asking just to get a scholarship. He gonna be playing for free. Or the worst case scenario, what if you don't get picked up ever again? How you gonna get your education unless your family got money? This messes up your NFL prospects. It messes up a lot, bro. This is where these players have to understand there's always another you coming down the pipeline, and the coaches know that. So you can act a fool if you want. It's better just move in integrity, uphold your end of the bargain. Hell, ball out so much where the fan base is going to the coaches is like, yo, you need to pay him more so he don't transfer. Let other people say that. Let the coach come to you. These are, man, it's gonna be a lot of rude awakenings, man. There's gonna be a lot of kids left out in the cold, and then they're gonna be saying politics, and they're gonna be bitter and stuff on these creating podcasts, complaining like, nah, you messed up. You thought you was better than what you was, and the world showed you wasn't ish. Simple as that, man. Well, we're gonna move on, man. Last question, man. Then we're gonna get up out of here. The NBA, the drama in Phoenix, man. Drama in Phoenix, man. Per NBA insider Chris Haynes and Phoenix radio host John Gambardoro, Mike Budenholzer asked Bill to model his game after another superstar sacrifice opportunities for the greater good Jrue Holiday. Holiday went from the Milwaukee Bucks' second leading scorer to the Boston Celtics' fourth highest scorer, 23-24. Instead of complaining for a lack of touches, Holiday maximized his opportunities while focusing on impacting other aspects of the game. It's the most recent examples of a star player accepting the lesser role in order to win, and it worked out as Holiday earned his second ring with Boston last spring, along with another gold medal in the Summer Olympics. Brad Beal, who averaged 17 points per game this season while making $50 million, was apparently displeased by this request. Haynes reported it was not well received. Quote, lead sources told me early in the season, Coach Budenholzer met with Bradley Beal. He told Bradley Beal he wanted him to be Jrue Holiday of this team. Holiday is a player who might become a Hall of Famer, but you got to understand when you're talking about Brad Beal's caliber, it wasn't well received. You know the type of player Brad Beal is. You know how he's made a name for himself in the league, playing his way. To ask him to shift his game, to alter, and to say Jrue Holiday on top of that, somebody who Coach Budenholzer has won a championship in Milwaukee, it wasn't well received. Gambardoro confirmed Haynes' reports while saying Bill felt disrespected by being asked to play like another player. Quote, I know about this story. It is true. Bill told Bud, don't ever disrespect me like that. Don't ever tell me to play like another player. Gambardoro wrote on social media. Ray, your thoughts on this, if true. It could be because you notice when things go to hell these days, teams put out slander posts and slander reports and out there. So if true, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, Coach Bud should have known better than to ask Bill to be that impactful defensively in the first place. Because, yeah, we've seen what he's capable of on that end. But like Brad tripping, just like Comey from Tennessee. Like, dog, you've accomplished nothing, literally nothing in the NBA. Why should you feel any type of way if your coach asks you to switch up so this team could be successful? Like it's been a shitstorm since you've been there, dog. And you making $50 million. Like, so you already getting over. You're getting all the money and you're not producing and the team losing. Like, so what are we talking about? I'm gonna say it every time. They need to go back to 9-year, $9 million contracts because this is out of hand. And yes, I'm pro team, pro owner. Yes, because these people be out of line. Like, dude, if I'm paying you $50 million and you just missed the play-in, you need to give me some of that money back. And then I'm coming to you as a coach saying, hey, man, you need to adjust so we can be successful. Because and look who's out of a job now. Look who's out of a job now, the coach. So like, yeah, man, I don't envy those dudes at all. They got to deal with this type of stuff. And yeah, if it's not true, then strike everything I just said from the record. But if it is true, like, dude, it's not disrespect to ask you to perform like a pivotal championship piece. Like, how is that disrespect? But yeah, man, this is crazy. But I don't feel sorry for Phoenix, because why would you even take that on in the first place? He don't have to be there. Like, y'all chose that. Now deal with it.
Just to harp on what Ray said, Brad Beal this season, defensive rating 121, by far the worst of his career. And his 17 points per game average, the second lowest of his career outside of his rookie year. Wilson.
Yeah, if it's all true, I'm gonna even leave that. I just need people to stop disrespecting Drew Holiday. Just for the record, can we? This is the angle I'm gonna live in with this. Whether it's true or not, what I'm about to say, that's the side of this I'm leaning on. So with this in their career, right? This, because I'm really sick of, we're diminishing a winner for people who put up stats and people just getting really outlandish. Like, don't disrespect me like that. Drew Holiday should be disrespected. Like, that's who should be disrespected. So in his career, like, we talk about win-loss record, right? 397 and 404 is Bradley Beal. 397 and 404. You talk about, let's disrespect Drew Holiday. Drew Holiday, 569 and 468. All right. Once known as a scorer, the other guy people disrespect as a whatever, glue guy, yada, 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 whatever. All right, cool. Bradley Beal, career points per game, 21.5. This disrespect we're talking about. If according, like, going with this premise, one would think that they score per, their career averages should be like a 10-point, 15-point difference, right? Something of that nature. It's 6. Brad averages 21 for his career. Drew's at 15.8. Like, what are we doing? And that's including 2 years you average 30. The difference is 6. We're not even, and then to throw in the winning, please stop disrespecting winning players. Because if they had acquired Drew Holiday, Phoenix is still together. You wouldn't be about to trade KD. You wouldn't be firing your third coach. But instead, we're here. Please, in the podcast, is everybody, what did Drew Holiday do to all y'all? He showed up, he works, keeps his job, and his teams win. Leave Drew Holiday the hell alone, please. I don't understand. Don't disrespect me like that by bringing up a winner, a proven winner. So he won a championship with Milwaukee. He was the thing that got them over the top, correct? Cool. Goes to Boston, made them damn near illegal. That's the thing that made them illegal. Like, it was cool that Kristaps was there, but Kristaps was there and not there and whatever. Drew Holiday made it illegal because Swiss Army clamps, just illegal. Oh, and by the way, in case you get in trouble, he can score, as evidenced by the 6-point margin between your career averages. It's just that since he does other things that impact winning, he's not asked to jack up as many shots. Also, you've taken a considerably more amount of shots than him. That said, just stop disrespecting Drew Holiday. Like, I'm not knocking you, whatever you do. Your roles are different. That's great. But you went there. There's no way in hell that you went there thinking you were on equal footing with the other 2 dudes that were there. And if you did, that's delusional and that's crazy. Like, that's just nuts. Similar to, like, if you're the third option somewhere, you have to do the other things. Anytime we've seen some of these super teams, what have you, someone has to do the other things. And at this point, you don't do any of the things outside of scoring. So that's the tough part. And other people getting, some blame, whatever, deservedly so, because they're a little bit higher on the food chain than you. But that said, you were supposed to be the thing that, they acquired you, right or wrong. I'm with Ray. Whole nother conversation. They acquired you to, kind of as an arms race, put them over the top of things. And instead, we're where we're at. But please stop disrespecting Drew Holiday. Like, they're really about to move like a full-time player because you got a no trade in your contract. Like, that's about to happen. And also, like, all this stuff that's happening is because they could have spent that money somewhere else and built that team correct. But again, that is another conversation because that goes to the whole thing, Cardell, what you're always talking about. When owners start doing a little bit too much and ignore basketball people, you end up in these types of situations. Because again, there were things you needed to do once you have Devin and Kevin. You chose to find a way. You chose option 897, and there were 5 options on the page. I don't know how you got there, but you found the worst things possible, and then you doubled down on them, and you're here. But if it's true, that's crazy. Whether it's true or not, I don't even care. Just how we it's disrespectful to ask you to follow the steps of a 2-time champion who he coached. Like,
6-time all defensive player too. 2-time all-star.
And also, like, the reason maybe he asked you, like, maybe he take that role is like height-wise, weight-wise, y'all got similar builds. Obviously, Drew's a different dude, as evidenced by the winning impact or whatnot. But yeah, dude, like that's what would your role was going to have to change to be there. And yeah, I'll just leave that there. That's crazy.
Octavian.
I mean, I think you guys covered it very well. But Bradley Beal should wish he could model his game after Jrue Holiday. Like he should hope and pray for it at this point. If only the reason of durability at this point, because half the damn time Bradley Beal's not on the court because he's injured. Jrue Holiday is very rarely injured. I think this year probably was the most he was ever injured, and it was a finger. So he should wish to do that. I mean, I'm sure Giannis wishes he still had Jrue out there with him as well. It doesn't, if it's true, again, like you guys said, let's put a disclaimer out there. If this is true, it's par for the course. Like I personally always thought, not always, I take that back, but I feel like in his latter years, he started to feel like he's above the fray. And it's just not, it's not producing on the court. Like you already covered, Jrue Holiday, I mean, even with him taking a quote unquote back seat, he has, like you said, 2 NBA championships, 16 defensive all player. I mean, you already laid out the stats. He's won 2 gold medals, I believe, or maybe one in the side. I can't remember the other one. I mean, he's hella accomplished. So to me, it's just his ego as well, you know, just to be like, I'm Bradley Beal. Like, what do you mean? Like, that's how I feel like it probably came out. On the other side of it, Budenholzer probably should have never asked if this is the only other guy in the league who has a no trade clause for whatever reason. Of course, he wasn't going to like that. But yeah, here we are again with the Phoenix Suns. Again, like you said, firing another coach, having to go through this all over again. Devin Booker just sitting there twiddling his thumbs at this point, wasting a good prime of his career. Yeah, of course he has individual accolades, but he's nowhere near ever winning a championship at this point. And it's just I mean, I know you guys said it's a different story for a different day as far as the franchise and it's on its own right. I mean, the owner and himself, like the things he said out his mouth the last couple of weeks and months, doubling down on situations. I believe he said it's like 29 other teams in the league that wish they were in their situation. I literally laughed very, very loud when I heard that. Nobody wishes they were in your situation, sir. Trust me. Nobody thinks that at all. But yeah, I mean, again, Jrue Holiday gets the short end of the stick a lot for players who don't play like that. You know, like you already laid out also his defensive numbers. He don't play like that. He's trying to be a finesse player. And it's just not boding well. He's never been in a winning situation, unfortunately. We know, like you guys said, we've seen it all here in DC for years and years and years. And it didn't look too much different in Phoenix, except it just cost them a whole lot more money and they can't move him.
Jrue Holiday's offensive rating this season, 121, defensive rating 113, winning player. The thing about if this is true, obviously if this is true, and Mike and Budenholzer came to him and he said that, it goes back to what I always say about every player says they want to win, but it's like, do you want to really win or do you want to win your way? And most players want to win their way, and that's not. That means you don't really want to win, because if it don't go your way, then what? You know what I mean? And if this is true, that's basically what this is, man. And It's disheartening, and I'm with y'all. Drew Holiday is this generation Sidney Moncrief. You youngins, go look him up. You'll understand how special that is. Ain't been but a couple of them in the history of the league. Literally guard 1 through 5 as a guard, 1 through 5. Score, can pass. He averages over 6 assists for his career. It ain't like he averaging like 2. I really hate the stigma of guys that stand out defensively, where they just make you a defensive player and all the other parts of your game is totally ignored. Drew Holiday is a complete motherfucking player. Like, we gonna cut this shit out. And all the players that's talking trash about how they would dust him on, bust his ass on, no, you won't. Because see, he gonna get stops on you. Y'all ain't getting no stops on him. He can shoot, he can 3-level score, he can post up, he can go past you. And he's far more athletic than what he's given credit for. Go look at his high school and college tapes. How he doing one-leg windmill with both hands, how he can shoot and score with both hands. He's an elite player. Hell yeah, he's a Hall of Famer. I'm tired of people trying to just discredit defenders and stuff like that, but then in the next breath, they complain about the league not defending enough. It doesn't make sense. It's just, I'm like, bro, scoring is great. Don't get me wrong. You got to be, the goal is to be as complete as a player as possible. That's why you stay in the gym and work on your game. That's the ultimate goal. But I emphasize defense because it's the most neglected part of the game. You don't have to motivate a lot of players to shoot and score, but you damn sure got to light a fire under them to defend. And that tells me right there if you really want to win or not, because the coach shouldn't even have to do that. Like, no disrespect. After when Ant-Man did it to them boys in the playoffs last year, how do you not come back trying to defend like Drew Holiday, bro? Like, you got embarrassed, man. You see what I'm saying? And if this is true and you coming off like that, the reality check should be this. USA Basketball ain't calling for you to come play. They calling for Drew, though. Like, come on, man. It makes no sense, man. But the whole reason why Phoenix is in the situation that they're in, ego. From the top down, just ego. Sometimes, man, as a man, you got to look in the mirror and just check yourself, bro. You know, I live by the motto, bro, if you don't humble yourself, God will. And when he humbles you, it hurts. It hurts, and they're hurting from the ownership on down. Should have just let James Jones rock, force him to trade all these people that was pillars in them getting to the finals not that long ago. Ironically, the team that lost to the Bucks with a Drew Holiday on as the point guard. See what I'm saying? You traded all those key pieces away to make this superstar team, and this big three stuff hasn't worked in years. It literally hasn't worked in years. But you thought you could do it. Like the Warriors and Kevin Durant on it, that was a special case. Because all those brothers were unselfish. Led by the star on that team, Steph Curry. They knew how to fall back, let the other one rock. That's the key piece in this. That doesn't seem like that was happening in Phoenix the last 2 years since they went and got Barry Bill. It just doesn't seem that way, man. You went through 2 coaches, 2 championship winning coaches can get to you. Bro, red button, Wilson. Red button this month. Like, you got a red button this month, dog. Like, it ain't nothing to say. Ownership, cut the checks. Cut the checks. That's all we need. Cut the checks, bro. Let the basketball people do what they do. Because this is a big time failure. And on top of it all, you don't even have assets to build the team up in the future, bro. Like, you ain't got no draft capital coming up. It's all gone, bro. Like, you can't even, like, come on, dog. It is bad, man. And for you to get that, you're going to have to trade KD more than likely.
I think, and the best part about it, if you're a team that wants, I'm not giving up players. Take some picks, you beggars. Bye.
Yes,
I got extra picks.
Exactly.
Which you can't say no. Here's 3 first. Shut up. Give me Kevin Durant. What you going to say? You going to look into your empty cupboard of picks? You can't say anything. They ain't got to be high first. You don't have any, sir. Like, I'm okay. If I'm one of these young teams with a bunch of picks, it's time to cash in. Come here, old man. Let the little kids run around you. Shoot. What's it going to cost you? Picks. Well, I don't care what you want. Take these picks.
Here's a team right now that got like 50 of them. Oklahoma City. Lord knows if he go there.
Look, somebody okay, oh my God, somebody else brought up an interesting place because I never thought about the other day. Thought about it. Was exit things was what's it called? You remember originally when we was leaving go to state, you wanted to go play with Kawhi?
Yeah.
It's about the Clippers. Like people need to hope both of those things just don't happen. Because again, people don't have to give up stuff. Like the stuff you gave up last time, you can't demand that again. Because you can't move Brad. I mean, you can move Book, but that's a different color. That's a purple button. That's when you just that's like
Luka
Mr.
Park.
Stark. I don't feel too good. That's that button.
That's the Luka part too.
Like and for the most part, as long as you still got him, you got a little wiggle room. But again, think about where you at right now. Like Kev's slowing down, but it ain't like you're literally about to. There's a good chance you're gonna hand this guy to someone in the West, and they're gonna drop in to add water, just add scorer, and the stuff that you were supposed to achieve is gonna happen while you watch it. And they're just be like, all it cost was some picks we were never gonna use. And you sitting over here with Devin and Brad and some dusty late firsts. You think the kids at OKC about to be tripping? Hey, old man, rest up. It's the end of the game. Here.
Bro, KD, you rock. SGA be like, I'll finish it. I'll close it. I'll get to the free throw line, close this bad boy out, baby. We good.
You think the Clippers about to be tripping? Hey, Kev, get us through the regular season. Kawhi bot coming for his 5-month run. James at the controls. Like
James averaging 15 assists a game and shit.
Because like he played fine with James last. Again, the issues had nothing to do with it. Like this is what's about to happen this summer because of stupidity. Y'all about to hand over a weapon. Like, I'm gonna be quiet because I don't want to say anything else. But appreciate y'all for tuning in. But again, this is a great example of what happens when people owners do too much. And also
bad things.
Bad teams do bad things. Egos. That no trade clause, mother. But we'll see y'all next week. Y'all have a great one.